So after I saw Maleficent, I saw A Million Ways to Die in the West. Before I get into that review, I want to talk about um, the fact that uh, between Maleficent and when Maleficent ended and when Million Ways to Die in the West began, I had 2 hours to kill basically. So obviously I went to go get something to eat, stuff like that, and I was on my way back from from getting some dinner to the movie theater just to show you how much of a bad day I've had. I just have to share this story for a second. Sorry, people. Uh, but just to show how much of a bad day I've been having, guess what ran out in front of my fucking car? A fucking deer! Now, where I go to the movie theaters is like in the middle of a mall. And this mall like is not anywhere near like any wooded area. And there's never fucking any deer whatsoever. And the fucking deer just runs right in front of my car. Luckily, I was going slow enough that I fucking stopped in time and didn't get hit there and hit the damn thing. What the fuck? I mean, I was like, at that point, I was like, all right, I'm parking my car at the movie. I'm parking my car at the movie theater and just staying there. I'm not fucking moving because I already bought the ticket and I don't think I can get it refunded, so I better just stay here and so I could go see the movie. Going into this movie, I was looking forward to it. I'm not the most. I'm not a Family Guy fan. I still think Family Guy is very fucking overrated. But I am a Seth MacFarlane fan. I think that guy has a lot of talent. I fucking love Ted. Ted was one of the funniest movies of the last couple of years. That movie was really, really funny. And for the trailers from this movie, the trailers I saw for this movie always made me fucking laugh. All the jokes were really good, and I always thought, I was like, man, this movie looks really funny. This movie's been getting also not very well received. At one point, I think it might be standing at like a 30% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not very good. I was like, how the fuck could this movie be that bad? Like, the trailers made it look very funny. I was like, it baffled me. And you know what? After I just saw this movie, I can kind of go. I'm still under that same impression. I don't know what the fuck the critics are smoking. This movie's not that bad. A 30%? Hell no fucking no. It's definitely a lot better than a lot of comedies that are, that critics praise. I mean, I've seen comedies worse than this get a lot better reviews than this one is. I don't understand that. Somebody explain to me how this movie's getting this badly received. I don't know. I don't know if apparently people are not Seth MacFarlane fans, and I'm not the biggest one either, but I still thought this movie was pretty generally funny. I would say this is not as good as Ted, but this is a pretty solid comedy. I liked Seth MacFarlane in this movie. I thought he was very funny. He carried this movie. It is one of those cases like he is the director and he casted himself in the lead, and he's casted himself in the lead as a person that gets a very hot girlfriend in Charlize Theron. Whatever, but at the same time, Seth MacFarlane is very charming and very fucking funny. I really like the guy. He definitely is. He has some of the best. He has definitely the best lines in this movie. This movie, he definitely made me laugh, probably more than any of the other cast members. Charlize Theron, him and Charlize Theron are very good. I like Charlize Theron in this movie. I've always enjoyed her as an actress. She is very funny, and they both have very good comedic chemistry, I thought. I also really liked Giovanni Ribisi and Sarah Silverman. I know some people that don't like Sarah Silverman. She's like one of those people that either like her or hate her. And I honestly enjoy her. And I thought her stuff with Giovanni Ribisi was really fucking funny. He's a guy who's they're a couple who he's a guy who's I think like a shoe shiner and she's a prostitute, and he goes to the saloon where she's working basically, and she's upstairs fucking a guy, and you can hear her very clearly like fucking this guy or giving a blowjob, and he just sits there waiting for waiting for her with flowers, and it's like that's like your introduction to both characters, and it's pretty fucking funny. And then as soon as she comes down, she's, "Oh, hey, sweetie, oh, I thought I have the best boyfriend ever. I get, he's giving me flowers." She tries to kiss him. He's like, "Oh, your breast sticks. Oh, sorry, I had to give a blowjob." That was pretty fucking funny. I laughed my ass off. I was like, "The fuck?" Like, and then the bartender tells her, "Well, Roy's gonna be coming later." He said, "Wanted to talk to you." She says, or Sarah Silverman goes, "What did he want?" And she said, the bartender goes, "He wants anal, I believe." She said, "Oh, well, I guess we'll have to wait till 6 o'clock or whatever." She said, "Well, we'll make an appointment at like 6 o'clock or something fucking weird." Like, it was pretty fucking funny. I like the stuff, and also at the same time, get this, they're saving themselves for marriage because they're Christians, even though she sleeps with 10 guys. Like Giovanni Ribisi says at one point, on a slow day, she sleeps with 10 guys a day. They still don't have sex. Whatever. I thought generally that some of the stuff between the two of them was pretty funny. I liked Liam Neeson in this movie. He's intimidating as shit in this movie. Well, he is Liam Neeson after all, but he definitely is fucking menacing. Like, he definitely could play like a really good Western villain easily. He's very good in this film. He has some. I mean, he's intimidating as shit. I mean, it's Liam Neeson. I love Liam Neeson to death. What else? You get a bunch of fucking cameos. You get a bunch of cameos. Two of them, which I was spoiled or before I saw the movie. One, Bill Maher makes a cameo, basically doing a real-time monologue, but using like Western like topics as in his monologue, and talk about Western, what's going on in the Old West at the time. You also get the one cameo I was so pissed that was spoiled in the trailer, that got spoiled in the trailer, which is Doc Brown. Where if you haven't seen the trailer, the scene is Seth MacFarlane sees like a glowing blue light in a barn. He goes to check it out, and there's Doc Brown. Literally, it's Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown, and he's hiding the DeLorean, putting like a tarp over the DeLorean, and that's all it is. I was hoping that from the trailers that we maybe would get like how Flash Gordon had a big role in the guy who played Flash Gordon had a big role in the first, or Ted. I was hoping we would get like Christopher Lloyd having like a pretty significant role in this one, but he doesn't, which sucked. You also get a really good cameo, which I don't want to spoil, at the very end. It is very fucking funny. I was the only one that actually laughed at that, which is kind of sad, but it was a pretty funny cameo. Also, there's one cameo I will spoil that it's so weird, but it did make me laugh. There's a part where Liam Neeson, well, Charlize Theron is Liam Neeson's wife, and Liam Neeson's a part of a gang of outlaws or whatever, and she rides along with them, and they split up, and she and one of his men go to the town that Seth MacFarlane is in, and she meets up with Seth MacFarlane, and they become friends and have a romantic relationship start, and Liam Neeson finds out that she made out with him, and he doesn't know who it is. So he goes into the saloon, and he's like, "I know somebody made out with my wife. I want to know who it is." He's like, "Do you know who it is?" And the camera pans over, and they're like, a quick blink and you'll miss it. There's Ryan Reynolds. And he just does this. And then Liam Neeson shoots him dead. It's like, that was an easy paycheck for fucking Ryan Reynolds. Alright. It's just, he just had to shrug his shoulders. And I was like, why not? I was like, that's pretty funny. I like that. It's like, that made me laugh. I think a lot of people in the theater didn't catch that was Ryan Reynolds. I got that though. But also this movie is a pretty decent. While it is a parody of the old Western movies, also in like the parody of the Old West, it is also a pretty solid like tribute to the West or the old Westerns. I mean, it has like the opening of this movie felt like something you would see from like an old Western film. And it has a lot of music cues and stuff like that. It made it feel like a Western. It looked like a fucking Western. It was just a comedy and a parody of them. And it definitely, you can feel like the love for like old Westerns that Seth MacFarlane has in this movie. As far as like jokes that I thought were pretty funny, the one I can't think. There's a lot of them. The one I remember, people are gonna give me so much shit for this, for saying that this was probably the one I remember the most. Kind of laughing. I hate laughing that I laughed at this, but it was pretty funny. They go to the carnival, and I'm not saying this is the only joke. I want to clarify before I get into this joke. This was the only joke that I found funny. There was many jokes. I want to say that right off the bat. Because you'll understand why I'm saying all that when I tell this joke. But carnival, they go to the carnival, and oh yeah, I forgot to talk about Neil Patrick Harris too before I forget. Neil Patrick Harris was, as much as I liked the guy, I thought he was probably the weakest one of them all. Although he had one hell of a mustache, and I did like the fact that he owned a mustachery, which basically was a shop to groom your mustache. Why not? I liked that. I thought that was pretty funny. But he was alright. But anyways, they're at the carnival, and he's dating Seth MacFarlane at the beginning of the movie is dating Amanda Seyfried, and she breaks up with him. And she goes straight from Seth MacFarlane to Neil Patrick Harris. And so Neil Patrick Harris sees Seth MacFarlane at the shooting, or at the carnival, and says, let's go shoot at the shooting range. And so the next thing you see is when you think of a shooting range, you think like little stand-up ducks or stuff like that, something to shoot like that, something stupid like that to shoot. No, what they show next is, God damn, I can't believe I laughed at this, but it's like one of those, like, it took me a while, then when I realized, I'm like, oh my god. It says, it's runaway slaves. It's just pictures of stand-up black people, watermelons. Yeah, not joking. And Seth MacFarlane does say, like, dude, seriously, you couldn't just put ducks or anything like that. You had to put that, like, yeah, really? But I still laughed at that. It does result, I will say this, without spoiling it, it does have a great payoff. That thing does have a great payoff. That joke does have a great payoff because of the cameo that you have at the end of the movie. I don't want to spoil the cameo at the end of the movie because it is so fucking great. But the cameo that happens at the end of the movie is a great payoff to that joke. Because I thought that joke was pretty funny. That's the only joke right now I'm thinking off the top of my head. Of course, with any comedy, you have jokes that don't work and stuff like that. I could have dealt without Sheep Dick. Seeing Sheep Dick, that was weird. Or Neil Patrick Harris pooping in a hat for like almost 2 minutes. That didn't work. I thought that was like, okay, this is getting annoying. That joke was drawing on a little too long. I'm not joking about Cheap Dick either. There's a scene where you see a sheep's dick. Um, yeah, like I said, with typical comedies, but for the most part, I laughed more than I wasn't. Um, Also, this movie, I will say, if I were to complain, it is a little long, too long. It does drag on a little too long. You definitely feel the length. At one point, I'm like, this movie could easily ended like 20 minutes ago, like, and I would have been fine. But it just keeps going and going and going. It's like almost at 2 hours. Stands like, I think it sits at like an hour and 56 minutes. And it definitely shouldn't have been that long. But whatever, it was fine. Yeah, I definitely recommend this movie. If you like Seth MacFarlane and stuff like that, you should like this movie. And yeah, definitely see Maleficent too. I got only 2 new trailers with Million Ways to Die in the West. These are really weird trailers to get with A Million Ways to Die in the West. Which were the first one I got was As Above, So Below. That's a weird title. This looked actually kind of creepy. I was like, that, like, at first I'm like, I don't know about this, but as the trailer went along, I was like, this looks actually pretty creepy. It's like a group of people go down to the catacombs in Paris and get trapped down there, and it's a found footage movie also, I forgot to mention that. It is a found footage movie, yay. And like the way the trailer was going, I was like, oh god, is this like the Descent? Like stuff like that. No, it like hints that as they're going further into this catacombs, they're going into the gates of hell. Okay, it generally looked pretty creepy. I have no idea. I might check that out. And then I got the new Liam Neeson movie, which was weird. I got that, but just because Liam Neeson's in it. In Million Ways to Die in the West, I think that's the only reason I got this trailer. It was called A Walk Among the Tombstones. It's a supernatural thriller where Liam Neeson's trying to find out about the death of a man's wife or something like that. He's a private detective. Something like that. That's all I got out of it. It looked like it was supposed to be like a supernatural thriller. It kind of looked pretty awesome. Looked like Liam Neeson was going to be a badass. Liam Neeson being a badass, I'm watching that. I'm sure it could be pretty fucking awesome. I love Liam Neeson. Again, I love Liam Neeson. He's definitely a convincing badass. So, there's that. Yeah, those are the trailers I got with that. Now, like I said, as I said, my Maleficent trailer or Maleficent review, I now only have one job, and because of that, I will be doing my reviews as frequently as I used to do. Before I got 2 jobs. So I will be back, and I also will do pre-screenings. Still do pre-screenings, but not at all the time, as much as I have been, just because it's less expensive. It's more expensive to go to pre-screening than like a matinee for a movie. So I'll be back next week with Edge of Tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys later.